Mm-hmm.
Yo, yo, yo. It's the big game. Well, it's not the big game. It's the Big Star show. I'm so sorry. I was off my noggin just for a second, but it's the Big Star show. We are back again. If you waiting, come on in, cause what? We're on YouTube on both channels, and we are on Twitter on hers, cause we ain't on mine. See, we used to be on Twitter on mine, and then
We not on Twitter on mine either. I'm boycotting Twitter for my
thank
content.
you.
Y'all gotta
Okay,
come to YouTube because I'm
okay.
like, no, bro, y'all don't be interacting. So I'm like, come on over to YouTube.
You feel me? What
Help
up,
me.
Rev? Come on over here, cause I ain't paying that. I ain't paying no $22
I'm
for that.
paying.
No,
I can stream to Twitter too, but it's like Twitter.
I feel you. I
Y'all
saw
just
I
be
saw your
watching my.
post.
They just be watching content for free. You know it over here, and I'm like, no, man. I need y'all to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need y'all to help me out. And I post a link to my YouTube, but if it's on Twitter, people just gonna look at it on Twitter. So I'm not putting my content on my videos on Twitter right now. My live videos. I will in
There
the future.
and there it is. And there it
Yep.
is. And
Yep.
there it is. Everybody else getting paid. We gotta get paid too. Ain't nobody
Exactly.
trying to jump out there, but we gotta get paid too. Feel
Exactly.
me?
Exactly. So
So
we gonna keep it on the YouTube side.
and there it is. And even YouTube be eating, so you getting hit
Exactly.
everywhere. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So what's
Exactly.
good, everybody? David, Boothang. I see Rev Rebel. Come on in here. Daniel, keep on coming in here. We got training camp to talk about. Me and Star didn't get to talk about the injury to Sam Williams, and guess what? There was a signing today, and we definitely gonna talk about that. But it's gonna be a lot of good things, And I love it because she is optimistic with it, and I'm more pessimistic with it. But I got good things that I like. I got good things that I
Uh-huh.
like, but I just
Mm-hmm.
I ain't listen to that foolery. But without a further ado, let's talk about this free agent signing. Well, signing because Sam Williams. Obviously, we heard about them. If you're on a whole different planet, if you didn't hear about Sam Williams, tore his
Right.
he tear his Achilles
No, he
or did
tore
he
his
blow out his
ACL.
knee? He tore
He
his
tore his
ACL,
ACL, I think, and MCL.
ACL and then MCL. Really hurt by that because we had just talked about it. We had Brandon Tucker, my dog B Tuck, on here, and he had
Mm-hmm.
trained Sam Williams for a couple years, and we were just trumpeting that we
That was
felt like this was
devastating.
like
I
how worse
had
can it be,
clips
Star?
I had clips queued up. I was about to make a video on my major season, and then he goes down. Like, so devastating. So devastating,
Right, and
man.
Tuck had trained him, and and we had just talked about how, man, we need to see Micah, we need to see Sam, we need to see D Law all on the field at the same time,
At
a
the
lot,
same time.
at the same
And that
damn time.
was the plan too, apparently. Like that was the
Hmm.
plan. It's just but injuries I always have. I hate injuries, man. Because I'm always like, all right, guy, who's good? Who is it gonna be? Because I know it's gonna be
Yeah, because you
somebody.
know that it's always somebody. You
It's
just
gonna
hope
be
it's not
somebody,
a.
no
You'll
matter
always just
what.
hope it's not a bad injury. You feel me? Shout out
Exactly.
to Sanjay. He be going hard for Tyrus Wee. I hope he does show because you've been talking about him for the last 3 years, man. I appreciate you
I
going
hope
hard.
he
You know
does
what I mean?
something.
He needs
Oh,
to.
what's up, Coach? Coach Marvin in the building.
Coach
Salute,
Marvin, the
Coach.
Bill. See, you bring him. See, Coach Marv, you bring him, and that's why I
Oh,
love. That's why I love it. But let's talk about the signing because obviously Sam Williams is out. Carl Lawson was out there. A lot of people had talked about him. I know John Oney had been talking about Carl Lawson for the last 3 damn years. He be talking about Carl Lawson until the cows come home.
yeah.
And we see his value, what he brings to the table. Has good size, like 6'5", good off the edge.
Hmm.
But I don't know the name of this guy that came from the Colts. What's his name? You know his name?
His name is Al something Mohammed.
Yeah,
Al shoot, I forgot his name.
it's something Mohammed. Played with the
Yeah,
Colts,
Muhammad played with the Colts. Was
signed a
out
contract
last
with the
year.
Bears.
Played with the
Didn't really do nothing.
Bears.
Hmm.
Didn't do anything with the Bears.
Got hit with PD.
Got hit with PED, which all of these athletes keep coming out and being like, I didn't know. I'm like, is there some type of thing, drink or something on the market
I don't know,
where
man.
these players just don't know, or are they just capping? I don't know.
Yeah,
Honestly, I don't want to just assume y'all lying, but I don't know. But his name's
Ali Quinlan
Al
Muhammad.
Quadin. His name's Al Quadin. Yeah, Al Quadin Muhammad is what his name is. Al Quadin Muhammad.
So here's the thing, because I seen you say something on Twitter, and I want to see what. I see you said something on Twitter, and I get what you're saying. That man, we can't cry about everybody who comes in here cheap. That it's a bad thing. Players have done good on cheap deals. I get what you're saying, but to
Mhm.
that I go against when you said certain players. Now, if I can get a Malik Hooker who was a first round draft pick for cheap, I'm gonna take that chance because he was a first
Mhm.
round draft pick, and it's not like he had a bad career at the Colts. He was just injured. If I have a
Mhm.
Dante Fowler who, with the Jaguars, who he's drafted with, his injury thing hurt him, and that's why he got to another team. But he had a good year at Jacksonville. He had a good year at the Rams. When he was with Atlanta, he was playing well. He just the injury bug was hitting him too. So I don't
Mhm.
mind if we take flyers on them and you get them for cheap. But if I get a Ali Quinlan Muhammad, who's a six
Uh-huh.
round draft pick, who has done really nothing, right?
Right.
And you're replacing, see, this is what I'm saying, Star. If you're replacing a Dante Fowler with Sam Williams, I don't feel bad because he's proven he's done it and he was a high pick. He has done it in his career in the NFL. But if you get the other guy who's a sixth rounder and he's done nothing and you lost a second rounder who has a lot of upside and you're replacing with him and you're doing it, and maybe Carl Lawson is probably a better player, maybe ask for a little bit more money. So then that's why I say the cheap thing comes in, and that's where I get frustrated.
Right. And I feel people right with the Carl Lawson thing. I don't know what's the deal with Carl Lawson. I'm sure it'll be something to come out. Maybe he's not exactly ready. Usually we sign these types like those players are a go. When we don't sign them, it's they weren't ready. Basically, what the reports come out and say. I feel like with these players, they're so low on the totem pole. Like I just don't think money was an issue. I just really don't. I'm like, I mean, it could have been. Maybe Carl Lawson was asking for a lot, but I'm like, dude, you don't really have nothing to hang your hat on besides a really good season you had. You had 8.5 sacks. I think you had like 9 tackles for loss, which that's nothing to sneeze at.
Mm-hmm.
But your career is, I mean, you don't have a Pro Bowl, you don't have anything, so it's like I don't really see you asking for much money, and you're a hurt guy. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, how much
Mm-hmm.
money could he really been asking for?
Right.
Um, that's my opinion with all these guys. Now, when it comes to Alquadine, now at first I was like, I don't really get like why we signed him, but I didn't know nothing about him. It just seemed like why wouldn't we just go with Carl Lawson? Obviously, that's who everybody was saying. Just go get Carl Lawson. He put tweets the star out and all that stuff. So I'm like, what's going on? But when I looked at the Alquadine kid, I'm like, well, I guess he's not a kid. He's my same age. He's 29. But when I looked up his stats, I was like, well, the Bear season, I don't know what happened with that. I don't know why. It's almost like he fell off a cliff. But the last season, full season that he had with the
Could have been the
Colts,
PEDs. Never
maybe
know.
that's where I'm like, never know. I don't know what it was, but I'm like, all I know is like when I looked at his stats from previous years, which I think I posted it, but I actually have a picture of it. Um, and guys, this is not. I mean, this is guys are rotational guys, so it's not like his stuff's gonna be amazing. But the first when he first went to Indy, he barely even played. Um, and then the second year, I think that was 2019, he had like 3 sacks on top of like five tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. But basically, he just kept trending up. His last full season in Indy, he had 7 tackles for loss, 13 QB. He had the most QB hits he ever had, 13 QB hits, and then 6 sacks.
He was on the
So
juice.
maybe, you know what I'm saying?
I
Maybe he
mean,
was,
I'm not trying to
but
diss, but that's real. We know it's real. That's why they call them performance enhancing drugs.
yeah,
They
I mean,
enhance your performance.
that's absolutely true. I mean, he definitely could have been on the juice. It just seems like every year it's just like got better, then he just fell off a cliff. So I don't know. Obviously, he doesn't have ties to anybody in the coaching room, but I'm when you look at the rest of the players, I think it was Justin Hollins,
Hmm.
Shaker Tony, him, and then Carl Lawson. To me, these are all the same type of guys. The difference is this guy, like you said, PEDs. So it's like if you were
Hmm.
really juicing, it's like how much of that is authentic. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that is a question mark on him. But if you're going for production, Carl Lawson had the most at 8.5. That he comes behind him with 6 sacks, but he's had more tackles for loss. Tackles for loss means to me that you can play the run pretty well. And then having about 13 QB hits. So I'm in no way saying that this guy's gonna come in and be all world. Obviously, he's not. My whole point was just because a player is cheap, it doesn't mean he sucks. It does just
Right.
because a player doesn't have good stats here doesn't mean he won't have good stats here. You know, we've
That's
seen
true.
plenty of players where it's like, and we've seen players too where it's like, they feeling off a cliff. It's like, yeah, they were good, but they fallen off a cliff, and then they come to Dallas, and it's like they revive their careers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have to. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, listen, I'm not saying these guys are gonna be Pro Bowls or anything. Shaker Tony, he seems like a very. Is he? I think he only played like 2 years. I think, and then I guess he was out for the gambling, so he's really raw. But he was something in college. You know, he hasn't really played much in NFL, but in college he was like Big 10 all time defensive end or whatever, and played with
But
Micah and
Star, here's my thing. I don't even mean to
no,
cut you
no.
off, but here's my thing. We need
Yeah.
difference makers. We're trying. This is a team that you're talking about. This is a ready-made team. This is a team that your coach is on a one-year deal. We know CD is probably getting signed very soon. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when Dak is going to do that. I gotta wait till it's finally done for me to say anything about Dak.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
let's say he is right. This still is a season where you have guys that okay, you got to play Michael Parsons next year. Also, will probably be up. Guys are always going to be up the next year. Let's just keep it real. Every year,
Right.
some guys are going to be up. So every year, the
Right.
team may look different. So when you're trying to say you're going for a championship and you lose a guy with the caliber of Sam Williams, who was a high end guy for you, and you thought you was going to do a lot of things for you, and then you come with just a rotational piece, you still don't have the defensive tackle position solved, even though we hear in varying reports, you hear, Mike Zimmer, Grandpa saying, don't be listening to that stuff out there. Mozzie's doing okay. It's still out there, the depth. I don't know if you have a difference maker in Michael Parsons. Osa is good, but you still are lacking depth, and you still are lacking guys that can really, in waves, still do things to
Well,
another team.
yeah, and I get your point with that. You know, at this point, like with Sam, you're not gonna be able to adequately replace Sam unless you go and trade for a young stud. Which what team
Hmm.
is about to trade their young stud? They're not gonna do that unless you give them like a lot of compensation, and maybe the young stud is having some issues where they just feel like you don't fit here. But other than that, like when injuries happen, guys, like you kind of just have to patch it up. There's nothing. It's just like if Micah, God forbid, if Michael went down, I mean, you cannot replace him. Like Sam Williams is a freak athlete. He's a walk. If he actually gets the snaps, he's probably walking 10 sacks. Like you're not going to really be able to replace him, like I said, unless you go out and make a trade. There's no free agents out there right now that are going to be on Sam Williams. And Sam Williams is projection, right? But we just have looked at him and seen, like, based on his snaps and his production, if you put him on the field, he should yield you 10 sacks. But it's not like he has anything to his name as well. It's just projection at this point. So it's that, I mean, that's just how I feel with these guys. And I understand, what people are saying. I'm tired of we need difference makers, but I'm like, I think we did go out and get a difference maker this year. Like our linebacker group, which was the worst group on our team last year, is now looking like it's going to be a strength. Now, do we know it's going to be a strength? No, we don't know. We'll have to see one. But when you're talking about how the strides that he's made, then you're looking at Overshown. I mean, guy looks like he's back to form. Like obviously, I know these guys will take some time, and it is just training camp. So I'm not trying to
Hmm.
hype it up too much, but when you're looking at, I think you did bring in a difference maker in Eric Hendricks. I know he didn't cost a lot of money, but there's a reason why the San Francisco 49ers went and got him to come and be their placeholder until they get back their other linebacker. I
But
forgot
we're
his name,
not
but
mad at that though, Star. We're not mad
right.
when they do it like
So
that. You feel
so
me?
you're
I'm
saying
not.
difference makers, but I'm saying like we did go out and get difference makers. We did, not with we let Gilly go, but I think even Brandon Cooks is a difference maker. Even if you don't think that he was great last year, he still gave us 8 touchdowns. And I really do believe that Tober's ascension, if Tober is gonna look in season how he looks like in these practices, his ascension is due to Brandon Cooks. So, so I feel like we have added those pieces, but I do get where people are like, hey, we need to add more guys. But there's a lot of guys that we know have been buried on the bench that we believe are dogs. Izzy Bagwaba was one of them. Like, there were so many guys. Wanye Thomas. Then now you got your rookie, Kalen Carson, emerging. Like, I just feel like we just have so many young guys, and it's just the issue is these guys are just unproven. But these are guys that we drafted and that we've been wanting to see on the field. So now's our chance. I personally am excited about it, but I understand some people may be pissed because they're like, you should have went out and got different players. Like these what are these guys gonna do? We don't know what they're gonna do. We need to go out and get proven players. But I'm like, if you're a draft and develop team, at some point you gotta develop these players and they need to play. Otherwise, you just need to change your philosophy to me. Like, you can't be a draft and develop team, but you're not developing your players and they're not contributing for you. I
Yeah,
mean, that's just how that's my opinion, but I
I, you
understand
know,
people see it differently.
we'll see. Everything that you are saying, I don't go against. I don't go against the draft the young, keep the young pipeline coming in. I don't go against that. I do go against that. You can get every year in free agency. You can really, if you really go hard. See, the problem is this. This is my issue. If we're talking about that, is the fact that you're not really looking. You're just sitting and saying, we're not even looking at that. We're not even looking at this. This is what we're specifically looking at. And I feel like that's where you can miss a guy who you making
Could
finesse on the deal. You
who
making
could
finesse.
could help you. I have a question, B. I put this
Mm-hmm.
out, I put a poll out,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, who would y'all, as far as team building, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
who would y'all rather be? Would y'all rather be the Dallas Cowboys, the Cleveland Browns, or the LA Chargers? I chose the Cleveland Browns and the LA Chargers because I'm like, these are two teams where they not only have drafted well, but they also have added like big time. They spent a lot of money in free agency. Like last year, the Chargers loaded the clip. I mean, but when we look at the results of those two teams, they got JC Jackson. They've spent a bag on him. He didn't amount to anything over there. They traded him back to New England for a 7th round pick. Then you got guys like Khalil Mack, where they were like, and Khalil Mack had to take a major pay cut just to stay there.
But
Then you have people.
Didn't Khalil Mack get them like 20 sacks one year?
That's true. He did help him. He contributed. This is what I'm saying. He contributed, but it ain't amount to shit. All they did was go to one playoff game and then got beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't help them. He didn't help them get any further than what the Cowboys have had, but they spent a lot of money on him. Then you have the Browns gave Deshaun Watson. That's an all-in, fully guaranteed contract. He's looked terrible, and then he got hurt. We hope maybe he looks better this year. Maybe he just needed a few years to get back. But my whole point is, you
Would
can
you say
add big.
what?
You
Here's the
can go
thing.
ahead.
I can on that Cleveland thing though, but they also came back with good coaching and won with Joe Flacco and got into the playoffs with Joe Flacco.
Right. They
And
did. They did get into the playoffs with Joe Flacco, but they also got first round exited just like we did.
yeah, but they had a 40-year-old quarterback, and no, and they lost Nick
Joe Fla-
Chubb.
Joe Flacco was looking good though. You know what I'm saying?
And I
Like,
think, and who was their quarterback? Because they was playing with somebody before they even got Flacco. You get what I'm saying? That was good
they were
coaching over
playing
there.
with they were playing with DTR, I think. Before they got Joe
Yeah, the young
Flacco, they were
guy,
playing with Darian Thomas. Yeah.
and they got a pretty
Darian
good
Thomas.
defense too. They got a
Yeah,
pretty
they
good
got a
defense.
they got a pretty good defense. They've added pieces to that defense. They don't just have they draft, like I said, these are teams they draft well, but they also every year add in. I think they added in Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, they added in Amari Cooper. Now they got what's the other guy that came from the Broncos, Jerry Judy. Like, but but these teams, like, they're adding these pieces. They're trying to stack these rosters with quality players, but it's not. But it didn't turn out well for them. My whole purpose is that my whole point, sorry, is that you can go out and you can spend a lot of money and you can get these guys, but it doesn't mean it's going to work out because the NFL is just one big luck fest. Like, you
You're
just
right.
don't know who's going
You
to
t-
turn
you
out. You just
you.
don't know.
It is. It's a big gamble, but
You
that's what
got
I'm
to be
saying.
lucky.
If it's a big gamble, and also here's the thing.
So hold on, big.
I,
So my whole point was saying you would rather, because I'm like, Cowboys fans, are y'all saying y'all would rather us
nope,
just make
nope.
the aggressive
Nope.
moves?
No, I like you drafting young, but you looking through that first. You looking. You're not actively just saying we ain't even looking. We're not even gonna touch it. We're not even gonna look. I said
Mm-hmm.
you can actively look. I'm always still gonna look for a deal. Doesn't mean I'm gonna do it, but we kind of know that these guys don't even look, and they say it. They say it that we ain't even looking at that. You get what I mean? Well, this is not our way of doing it. So that's all I'm saying is because you can find something if you aggressively look, and that's what all the thing I saying. There's not aggressiveness. You don't have to go out there and spend
Mm-hmm.
all kind of crazy money because I know you got to pay the piper. You know you're gonna have to spend for these guys. You know you're gonna have to do that. I understand that. I don't know exactly how the money exactly works with the cap, but I understand the cap as a
Mm-hmm.
whole. But I feel like every year in free agency or just as a whole, you can go and get at least one person a year, and it's not going to affect you no more than if you got stay with cheap guys. And I feel like just with the defensive position, when you had Dan Quinn, when we were talking about me and Boss talked about this, y'all wanted to stay with LVE because he was your guy and he was cheap. But you could have got Bobby Wagner and he could have helped your defense this year. But you didn't
Now
want to
I
pay.
I agree with that. I agree with that. See that, and but to me, that wasn't front office being cheap. That's front office trying to.
How
That's
not? You could. They
to
had
me.
they had an offer to get him.
That's front office with our guys. They could have afforded Bobby Wagner, but they didn't want to get Bobby Wagner because they wanted LVE to be the guy. And LVE
And he
was a
was
guy.
cheaper too.
Yeah, he was cheaper. So
He
that
gave him a good deal.
he was cheaper. That's true. But I think they also wanted LVE to be the guy. And I also think that
With a neck injury.
based on what the players say, like, we don't like LVE, but the players have
No,
nothing
I
but
don't
great things to
know.
say.
I don't hate on LVE, but
But
you
his
understand my
play, his
thinking.
play. But I get your thinking, like LVE was cheap, so y'all went with him.
And he
I
was
get
injury prone. He had a neck injury and he had already been hurt multiple times with neck injuries. So are we relying on somebody who has neck injuries who's missed a half a year, who had that was his problem in college, and we're relying on that. You get what I'm saying, Star? When you had a guy right here
I get
who
what you're
played in
saying.
this system, who just like with Zimmer, you got Kendricks because he played in the system. It would have been a seamless transition. We needed linebacker help, as you saw all year.
Yep.
So
Yep.
why not do that? And it's been other players too that they've done it with, where you're like, okay, you can kind of get this guy and he can really help you, but you're like, nah, we got a set number, and if he don't want to do that number, then we'll get this guy. This guy is a rotational player. And when we need guys in the playoffs that can really make a difference, that can really help you, those rotations really help. And if you don't really have those type of guys that are going to do that, because now we're talking about, we just had Brandon Tucker on the show. Now we're feeling like it's either Mozzie or Justin Rogers. And I'm sorry, I can't get excited about that. I can't get excited that these young guys, especially Justin Rogers, who you drafted so late, is going to come in here in a 17-game season, and this is the guy we're putting the Cowboys are putting all their marbles on. And I'm gonna listen to Zimmer because he's been out there more than anybody, and he knows it. So if he says don't listen to those reports, and he says Mozzie's doing okay, I'm gonna just trust him on that. But I don't know about Michigan
Yeah.
players working in Dallas.
I agree with that, and I in no way am I defending the let's keep LVE as a middle linebacker and not get Bobby Wagner. I think that was a ball dropped by the front office, and I think you could have pushed, you could have went out and got him. He wasn't that much money, and honestly, I don't understand why the front office didn't, because again, it seemed like they were really on board with getting him whatever he wants. What I'm talking about, Dan Quinn, draft picks, free agents, but didn't. They never got him Bobby Wagner. I just don't know what that is about. I don't know what they. I guess it was really to protect LVE, but I'm like the front office they'll add in other guys like if they really just feel like this guy just isn't it, even if it's over their players because they add in, they could have said we're gonna go with, we got enough, but I mean you at least go out and try to get somebody to compete. So I don't know. And there was other guys that were cheaper than Bobby Wagner that we could have got too that we didn't get. So that was definitely a ball drop. Listen, I'm not saying that the front office always makes the right decisions when it comes to these free agents, but I will say a lot of the times, like these past couple of times that we didn't win, I just don't know. Even in 2022, when the offense was bare bones, I really do think if Mike was calling the plays at that time or had been calling the plays, we probably could have pulled out that game because T.Y. Hilton, we got him off the couch and this guy's catching third and 30 balls and he actually was helping us. So I get both sides. I get
I do
go
too.
in, go in, get these guys. They may not work out, but they may work out and they can really help you. But I also get the same thing of our main pot of money has to go to our drafted players because those are the guys that are all pros. So we're gonna put all of our money toward them and then just get assets. I think. Do you think that some of our issues though could have been like I think some of our recent issues in playoffs could have been helped with just better coaching,
Yeah.
better scheme, better play calling.
Well,
Uh, I'm
I
not
think it's a
saying we
little bit
could
of
have.
both. I
Yeah,
think
I think
when you talk about 2022, I think it's coaching, but we had unfortunate injuries. But I look at Michael Gallup was in that game, and it was an injured player, and you could have kept on Amari Cooper. Now, I'm not saying
no,
Amari Cooper didn't sulk and didn't do things and didn't
no,
do
but
goofy
that's the
things.
one. I'm with you there, big.
That's 2022. You could have had
That's
him
the
instead
one
of
I
injured
won't
Michael Gallup.
forgive. Yeah, that's the one I won't forgive the front office for. What we did with Amari Cooper, and that was just a perfect. He was a perfect asset to our team,
Hmm.
and letting him go because of
Getting in their feelings.
COVID and all of that type
His
of stuff. That
feelings.
was so stupid. And I've said it before. I said if we had Amari Cooper in 2022, I think we pull out that game, even with Kellen Moore calling the plays. I think we could have because the scores was so close. I
It
think
was so
Amari would have
close.
he would have routed
He could
up
have made. He could have made a
Travarius
difference in a
Ward or
big
one.
play. Yes,
Right,
big play.
exactly. We
Back.
just
Dak
needed
hits
one.
him deep. Man,
Exactly. So I was like, so that I give people saying like you need those guys. And see, we were hoping, when we got Brandon Cooks, that he was gonna be able to guy to kind of help us push us over the edge, which he was trending up. But the playoff game, the last playoff game that we had, I just feel like I don't know. I really don't know what was going on that game because you just can't really identify it because Brandon Cooks was trending up. Dak and CD was on fire. The defense looked like they was trending up and at least developing packages to stop the bleeding with the run. Maybe not stop it all the way, but at least we could stop the bleeding. So, that
Dallas
last
don't know how
playoff
to win those kind of games. I'm gonna just keep it. Not from me.
where you
Dallas
gotta
does
come
not know.
back,
Yeah,
you got
when
yeah.
Dallas, when everything is on the line, just from me, I just feel like Dallas, when everything, like, and you know what I'm talking about, Star, when everything is on the line, and Dallas gets down by 10 or 14, it just, and I don't want to feel that way. I absolutely do not want to feel that way, but it feels like here we go again. They ain't coming back. Because they just don't do it. Like they do it against some teams and in certain games, and it's like we're Cowboys fans. We know that if you watch this team and you know this team, you know what it is. We will blow out mediocre team. We're gonna whoop your ass. Dallas is gonna whoop your ass if you're a mediocre team. You're a good team. Dallas will beat you. It's one of the upper echelon teams for the game. We don't do it.
It's yeah, it that's what's really been a struggle. I think people have had a hard time really pinpointing,
I don't know what to say.
what it is
What
because
is
it's
it?
like okay, some people say, oh, it's because y'all are soft, but it's like, well, if we are soft and we don't have hard training camps, then like why are other players who've left here saying that's not the case. It is competitive, and and Mike McCarthy getting fined because the practices are too hard. Like I think it was him and Andy Reid who were getting fined because they were having tough practices. So it's like I really don't know necessarily. And we thought Jimmy's in the Ring of Honor. The curse
Right.
is lifted,
Yep.
So
Yep.
I
I
I wish
I
we
know I
could.
did.
I wish we could put our finger on this is what it is. But it's like really we just keep bouncing around. Okay, it's talent, then it's coaches, then it's Jerry and Steven, and we didn't do this. It's just so much, but it's like even with and we said it last year, Big. We were like, even with us that lack of depth that we had at the linebacker position, we were like, we still should be able to pull off this game. Because
Yes.
we were like, we have the packages, we've seen it. We should be able to at least stop the bleeding. We know exactly how Green Bay is going to attack us.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
should be able to pull it out. It
Yeah.
just it was just a disaster, And I don't want to keep bringing up Dan Quinn or whatever, but I feel like the difference, the players are saying it. It's not us. The players are saying the difference is discipline, accountability. Dan Quinn just wanted us out here just playing fast, but when you're playing the upper echelon teams, you got to do more than just play fast. You know what I'm saying? You got to
Well, yeah.
know exactly what you're doing. You got to disguise these coverages. You got to do a lot of stuff than just play fast and physical. So I don't know, man. I just
You
hope
know,
that yeah. I don't know.
we're gonna talk about this training camp, but just off the thing with Dan Quinn, you know, and I ain't even dissing. I ain't trying to diss him and act like oh I was all up on him, and then now he gone. Now I'm dissing him. I don't want to be that person because that's not really what it is. Because I can go back and find the show where me and Boss did a show before Dan Quinn was hired, and we was like, we don't know about no Dan Quinn because the first thing we both said was he's soft. We say he's soft. We both said he was soft before he got hired to Dallas, and that the only reason why he was winning because he had Gus Bradley's defense over there, and he lived off of it. He wasn't drafting those players. He didn't bring those players in. He was helping out, and then he took over. And when he took over,
Mm-hmm.
he was living off the milk and honey, and then that eventually wore off, and so did
Yep.
he. And then when he went over to Atlanta, he had a good squad already
Mm-hmm.
ready for him. So he
Loaded
lived
up.
off that squad. And then
Mm-hmm.
once he got beat up, it lasted for a quick minute, like it always does, and then it wears off quick. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not no hate on Dan Quinn, but the pattern shows. It showed it with the other squads, and it did the same thing with Dallas. So I feel like it's going to do it with Washington. So I ain't worried about them. Just probably that first year because they're just going to be hyped off of because that's what Dan Quinn does. But to
Mm-hmm.
your point, Star, I agree with that because I just feel like Mike Zimmer is different because I seen Mike Zimmer when he was with Dallas before, and I seen Mike Zimmer when he was at Minnesota. I always liked Mike Zimmer as a coach. I just call him Grandpa because I just feel like he old as hell.
He's
But
old, yeah.
I like him because he don't
Mm-hmm.
take no shit. Like he
Yep.
don't play around. Like he ain't for like if he tell you this is what it is, this is what it really is. He ain't coming out there trying to be cool for the media. He ain't trying to be none of that. You know what I'm saying? He's in a
Yep.
way like Ron Marinelli, but a better coach, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
Rod Marinelli had those players like that too. You didn't run,
Yep.
you didn't do anything. You wasn't playing, dog. You ain't
Yep.
running that ball. You didn't go hard. You wasn't doing it. So that's the
Yep.
same way with Zimmer. You better bring it, and you better be a smart player. So they ain't just working hard. You better know what the hell you're doing. Because if you don't know what
Yep.
the hell you're doing, you ain't playing. I don't
You're
give a
not
hell
playing.
who you are, and that's
Right.
what I love about Zimmer. He don't
Right.
care hell who you are, and that's where we
Right.
talked about Dan Quinn showed his favorites. And I'll go back to Mike White when he was always talking about playing favorites with J. Ron Curse. He said, I don't want to say his name because he's going to jump in our feed and start getting on us. So we got to be careful saying that because, how Curse be lurking. So we got to
Yeah.
watch how we say them things. But he was saying, like, Curse was one of his favorite guys. And, you know,
Yep.
nobody really played J. Ron Curse anywhere else, and he became a favorite. And you just mentioned Izzy Mukamu. Why was he in the doghouse when he was making nothing but plays in the preseason? We were all geeked to see him, and you rolled out J. Ron Curse, and it was clear that he was not the same player that he was
It
that
was
first
clear.
year. He was struggling clearly. No matter if you knew football or not, you could see it clearly
He was
that there was
struggling.
a struggle out there. Why aren't you playing him? And then that's when
Mm-hmm.
the frustration comes. And To
Yeah,
me, when they got Quinn, it was a name guy, and I feel like
yep,
that's what they didn't take their time and look.
they
They
did
go
not.
for just the name,
They did
and
not take time.
those are just the little things. I don't want to be a complainer, but those are the little things I see, and I
They
feel like
matter.
those are the little things that keep us from championships.
Yep.
Star,
Yep. I mean, it's true. I feel the same way. And I'm like, with Dan Quinn, as you said, he just didn't make our guys better. I'm like, who did you really develop, Dan Quinn? I mean, I guess you could maybe take credit for Osa because
yeah,
that was your focus. So I'm like, okay, I'll
hmm
give you Osa. But out of all of these drafts where we gave you all of these guys, it's like
Kelvin
the
Johnson,
guys,
Nashawn Wright.
Kelvin,
Uh,
yeah, Kelvin Joseph. I mean, this
you
guy
one of
was
them
that.
though. I heard you say we made a mistake on him though. You said
Yeah,
that.
I did because I'm like, we didn't give Kelvin Joseph no time at all.
But his mind
2021,
though.
his mind was his butt. I mean, Sam too. And
You
now
right,
Kelvin
but that's
Joseph,
why he wasn't playing. Cause
but KJ not getting into no more mess. KJ was his mind was getting it's just like Sam Williams. It's like it's this off the field stuff. Like you need to tighten up. But
yeah,
2021 he didn't play because we had our guy Anthony Brown. So 2021 KJ didn't play. Then you got 2022 Anthony goes down, KJ fills in, but that's his rookie year, so he took lumps. I remember that
yeah,
Texas
yeah,
game
yeah,
in the Jets
yeah,
game. He
yeah,
took lumps. He
yeah.
got beat. He got beat. But so did Diggs his rookie year too.
But
Like that's
he
what
pulled him
happens.
quick though. As soon as he got beat, he pulled him quick. He
Right.
was done with, and his
Dan
confidence
got
was
him
gone.
out. He shot. That's what I'm saying. So it's like you didn't really develop. And then and see you talk he said Quinn drafted Mike. Yeah, he drafted him, but Micah is who he is, and Micah
Micah
trended
would have been
down.
Micah would have been that with anybody. I'm gonna just keep it
Right.
real.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Micah
saying.
would
Diggs,
be that with anybody. You would have to
anybody.
be the worst coach in the NFL. You'd have to be the worst coach in the NFL because Micah is so damn good. Any coach,
Notes.
he's just gonna be good regardless. He's
Right.
that
That's what
damn
I'm saying.
good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so that's a generational thing. You can't really, I
Yeah, so
mean,
you can't reclaim him because
right. It's like you can't
Michael gonna be nasty with Zimmer.
exactly like you and Dan Quinn, you were limiting Micah. You had Micah last year playing 90% edge. It's like, what is going on? Well, you know his best year was him as a rookie. So it's like Quinn, I don't want to take a crap on Quinn because I'm not going to act like he's just a trash coach, but I'm
Hmm.
saying like he seems to be a coach that needs to live off of talent, and once
And
those players,
assistants.
yeah, talents and assistants, right? Because even when he was in Atlanta, who was his offensive coordinator? Kyle
Shanahan.
Shanahan.
He had a dog second. I mean, he had a dog team back there as far as his coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to hire. Is this
So
coaching staff he got
right,
over there in Washington is good too?
is exactly right. So
Yeah, he
you talk
drafted
about
Bland. I'll give you that.
yeah, he drafted Bland, but
Maybe Al
Quinn
Harris has something to do with that too, though.
right. Quinn doesn't deal with the secondary. He coaches the
Yeah,
front. So
yeah.
that's Al Harris. And then you can also attribute it to what's our
And
guy that
with
left? Yeah, and Witt. Right. That's Al Harris and Witt. So I'm talking about specifically your impact on that defensive line. I didn't see D Law get any better. We still don't know what Osa is. I mean, not Osa. We still don't know what Chauncey Golston is. Villami Verhoko redshirted. Tristan Hill, all these guys, like, we just didn't, I didn't really see the development from Dan Quinn. I
I
don't think
mean,
he really knows how to,
I
I don't
mean,
think he knows how
Damone
to
Clark
develop players.
regressed. He said that he's a better fit in this defense. Damone Clark
Exactly.
regressed because remember
The
we were
Bo Clark
excited
again.
about Damone
Jay
Clark playing
Lou.
half the year. I mean, Jay Lou said this defense is better for him because he can attack and you can use him at the line of scrimmage. You can move him around and have him blitz. I mean,
Exactly.
we
And
saw what he was. Go
Sam
ahead.
Williams said the same. I'm gonna say Sam Williams said the same thing. Like these
We know
players,
Zim can coach defense.
yeah.
We
So
know that.
that's
That
all I'm
ain't
saying.
that ain't that. See, my thing ain't never been that problem. I knew they were gonna get Zim. When he said he was curious about this
You
job, I
said,
said,
"Oh,
"Yep,
it's
they
locked
got it."
up."
I said, "They got him."
Yeah.
And he already coached here in Dallas. I already knew they were signing him, so I wasn't even thinking about anything else. I knew they were going to get him.
Right.
Like I
Yep.
said, I don't trip on Zim being here. It's just that I don't want you being a head coach here. If you do that, I'm not watching no Dallas. I don't care. I'm not doing that. Um, you stay the defensive coordinator. I'm with it. I'm cool with it
hmm
because
I'm
I
cool
know
with
he
it.
will instill discipline on this team. I know he will
Yep.
get the most out of his talent. And one thing I do know Zim will do is stop the run because he don't play about teams running all on him. He's not going to be
Exactly.
allowing that to happen. So that's why I
Exactly.
mess with Zim. And like you said, um, Dan Quinn was all about getting the sacks and the turnovers.
Yep.
You know, and even Rob Marinelli, he was about getting upfield and getting
Getting
sacks,
them
getting
sacks. Getting
turnovers.
them
Look
sacks.
at the first year Rob Marinelli was over here. I think it was what 2014. They led the league in turnovers, getting
Yep.
turnovers. That's one of the reasons why Dallas was so good on defense because they were getting turnovers all the time.
Yep. Yep. But in those games, in those big
But
games, when
then
a team is
but in the
disciplined,
big games, but in
where
them
teams are
big games,
disciplined, and you
they
can't get turnovers, what do
and
we have?
and they couldn't get the stops when they need to in them big games. Because guess what? Now that it's different in the playoffs. You ain't getting them turnovers, and them teams is running on you, and they running up the middle on you, and they're exposing you. And Dan Quinn was starting to get exposed in those run fits. You putting Osa playing the 0 and the 1 at times. He's getting wore down. Like you've
Make
seen them fits
Neville
when,
a one tech. It's like,
yeah,
what's going
Neville
on?
was a 3. That's period. That's what he was. I mean, everybody knew that's when he was turning up. Just like when they had Malik Collins. When you had Malik Collins was a pass rushing defensive tackle, not a run stopping defensive tackle. They may try
Yep.
to make him like that, and he suffered. Whereas whenever he leaves, he goes get 5 sacks somewhere else, everywhere. It turns up. So
Yep.
hey, it is what it is.
It is
So
what it
I ain't tripping.
is.
I already know what how I feel about it, and can't
Mhm.
nobody sit there and say I won because I feel like what I say is very legit, and I feel like
Yeah.
those are the reasons what keeps us from going to the top. Those little
hmm
things, and I will scream on those until there's change because it shows me it
I
is.
agree.
But
I
let's
agree.
talk on this. Let's talk on this training camp though. Let's
Yeah.
get a little hyped on these because we definitely can say this about Dallas. They can draft. Not
Mhm.
they ain't like supreme, but they in that upper echelon of drafting teams.
Yeah, they are. They are.
I can say that.
I'm not gonna use up. It's a lot of things you can be mad at the front office about,
Not drafting though.
but not
They go
drafting.
hard in the draft,
I think at this point, Dallas is top upper echelon when it comes to drafting talent,
especially offensive linemen. I think they ain't like
especially.
top 3 in the league in
I just
drafting
don't know who
offensive
would be
linemen. I don't know
better.
who's better. I gotta
I
look. I
really,
gotta look that.
yeah, I would
That
have to look
we
and
gotta
see
look
who's
that up.
better, like all
Like
around.
let's do like the last 10 years. We need to look that up.
Yeah, we need
We
to
need to
look
go
it
check
up.
that.
But when it comes to this offensive lineman stuff, I mean, I just feel like they got it locked down. And then now, when they basically have all of their offensive linemen now getting trained by the best offensive lineman coach in the league, I mean, it's just these draft picks are coming out. Tyler Smith was very raw, but by week one, we were like, oh my god.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now we got Tyler Guyton from the field, college film. Everybody, he's a project. He needs lots and lots of work, but he's got the attributes. Now we look at him and we're like, and granted, Micah was just, and I think Rome said this. Shout out to Cowboys fan talk, and shout out to Mickey. You were my girl Craven Cowboys in the chat. Shout out Mickey.
Shout out to you,
Um,
Mickey.
y'all go and subscribe to Craven Cowboys. But um, dang, I forgot what Rome was saying. But
With
um,
Micah.
no, not with Micah. Shit, I forgot my train of thought. But what were we talking about?
it'll
We're talking
it'll
about
come back.
the
We were talking about the draft picks, Tyler Guyton, and then you said Micah.
oh yeah. Okay, so I think I'm talking about um Tyler Guyton. Basically, I think my whole point was just that these guys, they're raw prospects, but because of how we're able to develop them, once they that's what I was talking about, Micah. Now the videos of him stonewalling Micah still impressive because regardless, you're a rookie, bro. And
Hmm.
I think Micah the first day was just kind of just testing him out. So you can see
Hmm.
Micah was just trying to basically just trying to use his speed. Like I'm just gonna
Hmm.
but it wasn't working. Why? Because he Tyler Guy
Got
not
good
only has
feet.
his right, he good feet, and he's got those fundamentals down. So I was like, Michael gonna have to use his moves, because I'm like, his moves are what's gonna get him, but you ain't just gonna be able to rush at him and think, oh, I'm gonna get you. Because also Tyler Guyton's huge. It's like a tower, so it's really hard to get around him. Like his wingspan, his length, the quickness of his feet. So anyway, I just think that these pros, Tyler Guyton, and no, we're not saying he's going to be all pro or Pro Bowl. I don't really see that happening for offensive linemen their rookie year. I mean, maybe it could happen, but I just think that this kid's going to be a lot better than what people expected him to be when we drafted him. That's what I think. He's going to be a lot better than what people expected him to be.
Yeah, I'm excited about him. I said, I like the pick when I was not going against that pick because I had been screaming for the last 3 years. You need a left tackle. Trade Tyron Smith. Trade Tyron
Replace,
Smith. I
get rid of Tyler.
I've been saying that, so ain't no reason why I would
Yes, you
even
have.
cry about the pick. I've been
Mm-hmm.
staunchly. I said last year you should have did it. So
Yep.
I'm totally with it, especially when you got a
Yep.
guy. Only thing I was saying that hey, I love the pick, but you're going from the right to the left. Might be a little bit of the struggle. That's all. Might be a little bit of the struggle because
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be dealing with some guys this year. You're coming in your rookie year, and you're going to be dealing with some guys.
Coming in
Okay,
hot, defensive player of the
you
year.
feel me? You're gonna be dealing with some guys. So I said, hey, it might be a little bit of a struggle, but he gonna be. I feel like, in my opinion, he gonna be a dog. Especially him and Tyler Smith. That's gonna be the bookends, in my opinion. That's gonna be the bookends, in my opinion. They're
That's
gonna
gonna be
be
the
bookends
bookends.
the same way. We're talking about the Great Wall of Dallas. I don't know if it's gonna be that, but it has the potential
Right.
because you sit there and say maybe Cooper Beebe's not ready, but he has good traits,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you already have Tyler Smith, who he's a vet now. He's a dog,
He's a dog.
and
He's
he's
an
and he's
all pro dog.
all pro, and he's taking the responsibility of being a dog. He likes it.
Exactly.
He
Exactly.
likes it, and we like it,
Exactly.
right?
And we love it. We love it.
And we think Terrence Steele is going to be better this year. That was an injury
Oh,
prone year.
oh yeah.
He's going
Oh
to
yeah.
be better.
He's gonna return. Terrence Steele is
He
gonna
can't be the
return.
weak link, not against these
No,
young boys.
no,
He
he's
got
not going to be able
pride,
to. Right, he's not going to be the weak link, and we know how he dominates in the run game.
man.
Even last year when he was on his injury, you could still see the power. You could still see the nastiness and the want to. Because a lot of the run game is, do you want to? Do you want to go out and hit these guys and pancake them and all that stuff? And even with I'm a little bit sad, but I'm kind of coming to terms that maybe Hoffman really is going to win that center position. I think it's going to come
Yeah.
down to uh preseason to
Mm-hmm.
see, I think if Cooper BB, which y'all know is my pet cat, if he has a flawless preseason, I think the coaches are really going to be like
I
really
agree.
thinking. They're going to
I
really
agree.
be thinking like, but
I
I
agree.
do like so far what I'm seeing out of Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman's also looking like he also has that dog personality where you know
Yes.
that he's not going to be taken advantage of. He's not going to
Yes.
be bitched out or anything like
Yep.
that. So
Yep.
you're just talking about you got Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Brock Hoffman, Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele. That's just like a line of nastiness, especially if Zach kind of struggled last year, but he
I
said it was
think,
because
but these
he
young
missed training
boys, I
camp.
think I think the young boys may
They're
re-energize them.
right, they're re-energizing him. So it's like exactly what you said, Big. Like this line has the potential, and I saw what you put out on Twitter because you're like, I think this group may be
This
the
this
one
group
of the
might be
strong, one of the
this
strongest.
this this group might be that thing
Yeah,
for
it may
real.
be. And then when you go to the depth, then you talk about TJ
Sam
Bass.
Richards, TJ
Then you talk
Bass.
about Austin Richards looked
I
like he
love
took a
Austin
step.
Richards.
He
Yes, I
looked
was
like
loving
he
him
took
last
another
year.
step. So I was like, when
Hmm.
you're looking at these guys, and then
You still got
Duke,
Chuma.
then you got Chuma looks like Chuma. You looking
Chuma,
good.
he ain't look terrible.
He's looking good. Then you got now. I haven't seen any clips or anything of Nate Thomas, but Duke said that Nate was the guy that he's like over the offseason, out of all his
That's a
offensive
big
linemen,
dude.
he said he's a big dude. He's was the most improved. So know, guys, but I do think like I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on the offensive
This
line
O
just
line could be
yet.
nasty.
But I
It
think
could.
maybe go out and buy the ingredients because maybe by mid-season we want to start making the Kool-Aid because it's offensive line, and
I
it's like
think
for
this
the first
offensive line could
time
be good.
I'm not scared of injury.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not scared of it because I'm like, even if there's an injury, we have somebody that can fill right on in,
Yeah.
and that's great. I mean, salute to the front office because they were like, this was the draft where you needed to get this was a offensive line galore, and you needed
Yep.
to get off some, and
And
they
and
did
you
that.
got two.
Now they got three.
Three. Yeah. You got three. And you
They
got two
got
really
three,
good ones.
and you got two really good ones. So I don't know, guys, but I feel like I am buying into the offensive line being better, and if they really fix those nuances of the run scheme, I'm really going to be hard pressed to see many defensive lines just manhandling us
Yeah.
because last year we had struggles in that interior with Tyler Biotish,
Yes.
just getting manhandled. He just couldn't do it.
Getting pushed back
He
and
just could
still
not do
wasn't the same player because of the
right, still
injury.
right,
So
and
he
then
couldn't
Zach.
really drive, and then Zach took a little step, and he had some injury issues.
Yep,
You
injury
feel
issue.
me? And then, as much as I love Tyron Smith, he was better in pass game than run game.
Exactly. That's what I tell you. I'm like Tyron Smith, today's first ballot Hall of Famer as a pass blocker.
He
But when
can't
it comes
move.
but when it comes to run blocking,
He can't move.
no,
He can only
no.
go one way. He can't turn.
Exactly.
He
He
can't
can't move.
turn, dog. That man
He
is
can't
stiff now.
move. Yeah, he's very stiff. He can't move, and you definitely don't want him trying to maul anybody because you don't want him on the ground because you don't want him getting hurt.
Hmm.
So he was kind of a liability. Still first ballot Hall of Famer. Absolutely. I'm not taking that away from him. I know he was all pro last year.
Man, I
But
ain't
I'm
tripping.
just
He gone.
but I'm just saying, like, in the run game, he was not helping. That's why I could understand Cowboys fans just having a meltdown. I'm like, guys, I understand we wanted Tyron to retire here, and he will. He'll come back and sign for a day so he can retire a Cowboy. But he just we had to move on. It was just like you said, Big. It was just 3 years past. It was 3 years past time. We should have been moved on from him.
Yeah, you could have got something for him then. Y'all played
Yep.
around. And like I
Yeah,
said,
we
those
could
are the
have.
little things. If y'all want to get
Mhm.
busy, that tells me, okay, we just love Tyron. No, you just love he gave you that easy ass contract. And yes, he's
Yeah,
playing good, but you know he hurt every damn year. But you willing to deal with that. You willing
deal
to
with it.
deal with that because it's cheap. As soon as he wanted money, y'all cut him. Or y'all said bye. We good. Oh, you want money? Oh no, we ain't doing that. That's all I'm
Mm-mm.
saying, Star. Just those things.
Yep, I
So
get it. I
let's
get. I
let's talk about
go
the
ahead.
running back position because as good as I feel about this offensive line, I don't feel good. I don't care what they spending to me with this running back crew. I don't care what they spending. I don't care
Yep,
what they spending. I'm not. I
yep.
don't feel good. You got this great offensive line and you got no explosion in the run game. Talk to
That
me
and
about that. How do you feel?
that's the key point of explosion. And shout out to Nick Harris of DallasCowboys.com.
Yes, he was on y'all show.
Right, he was on me
Gave
and
y'all a lot
Nikki's
of good
show.
stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, he gave us a lot of nuggets. I'm gonna try to make
Mm,
clips of it. But he spoke about that too, about the run. He said the same thing. He was like, we have our short yardage guys, we
mm-hmm.
have our guys that can help with pass block out of Zeke, and we have that in Royce Freeman. But he said, right now, where's your spark plug? Where's your, Tony Pollard? Where is that guy at? Rico, I mean, people are saying Rico's leading the running back one. I'm like, I don't know how y'all are getting. I don't know. I think people just like Rico, but Rico, he's gonna get hurt. So he's definitely. I don't really see Rico as being the spark plug.
And
Um,
can you give Rico 20 carries, knowing that he's injury prone?
no, no, you cannot. No, you cannot. And it's like you need a guy that has that explosive ability. The only two people on the roster right now that can be that, which Nick said is going to be huge. He was like, Deuce's preseason will be huge because he's going to. We had saw Deuce in preseason last year, and we were like, oh, we might have something. And then he was we used him about 1 or 2 games, and then he's pretty much redshirted the rest of the year. And then when he was
Hmm.
in the game, it was just we're just
Mop
running
up.
up the middle. We're just
Right.
running up the middle to run the
Right.
clock out.
Right.
So we'll have to see. I'm really pulling for Deuce. I know he's a little guy, but we do know that he had the ability to be that home run hitter. But Nick Harris did say, listen, if they going through these preseason games and Deuce not doing nothing, Rico Dowdle not doing nothing, they're gonna go out and they're gonna sign somebody. Whether that be trade, whether maybe the Jets finally lets one of those running backs go. I don't know why the Jets has like 5 running backs, but maybe the Jets.
Would you kick tires on Dalvin Cook?
I would. Why not? I mean, I feel like you gonna sign him for cheap.
He
What's the
didn't even
worst that can
and he
happen?
didn't and what he didn't even
He
play
didn't
like you if
play.
you got Royce Freeman, why wouldn't you get a Dalvin Cooks who
Exactly.
he didn't even play last year? I'm
Exactly.
sure he got to be fresh.
He got to be fresh. Like I'm take a spinner block on Royce Freeman. I'm good with the. I think his name is Israel Abanikata.
Yeah, I need
He's a
somebody
second.
got some
He's a
juice.
second. Yeah, but I'm fine with that. Go ahead and make a trade, Cowboys, and get somebody in here if you feel like. But they're gonna evaluate it and wait. But they will sign somebody else. Trey, time they're not gonna sign somebody. Okay, Trey. The one thing we know about Dallas
That
Cowboys.
preseason will tell you.
Right. One thing we know about
If they
Dallas Cowboys,
struggle, yeah, go ahead. My bad, Storm.
no, I was gonna say just one thing we know about them. They may wait to the last minute, but if there's a problem, they're gonna sign somebody.
And they like that running game. They gonna always
Yep.
like they always gonna try to get some kind of running back. You feel me?
Yep.
Even if
Yep.
it ain't no, but they always gonna because that's like they Dallas's bread and butter. But I don't know. I
Exactly.
just feel like if they keep it the way it is, it's not gonna be good because you'll have all that power. But when Ezekiel Elliott gets stopped for 1 yard and then the 2nd and 9, then it's gonna go back to Dak in the shotgun and Dak throwing the ball everywhere and 40 times in a game. And not saying Dak ain't a dog, he can't do it, but that just opens up interceptions, opens up chaos. It just opens up things where
Right.
you're
And
always
more
thinking
you
we gotta.
exactly. Exactly what you said, Big. And not to cut you off, but it's just like the more you throw the ball, the more chances mistakes will be made.
You got to lean on
Like
that
that
run. You got to be able to
That's
lean
why
on that run game.
exactly. That's why you run the game. You run the ball in the big games because all coaches know. I don't give a damn if I got Patrick Mahomes out there. The more I have Patrick Mahomes throwing this ball against
More
these
things is
top
gonna happen.
defenses, the more issues can happen.
Hmm.
Interceptions, fumbles, sacks, hurt, all of this stuff can happen. So you have to be able to lean on that run game to carry you through those big games. And if you
Hmm.
don't have a run game, you're likely going to lose because your quarterback's going to have to try to pass his way out of facing these top defenses in the league. It's not really going to happen.
Yeah, I
we
feel
have
you,
you
David.
got
You could have got Derrick Henry.
Henry. That's
You could have
another
did
one.
that.
That's
Just
another one where I don't really understand why we didn't sign him because the guy wanted to be here. He said it even when he was a Raven. When he was already signed to the Ravens, he said, I don't. Dallas just never called me. He was like, I was really excited about it. Like he thought he was coming here and just Dallas just didn't pick up the phone. So that's the type of BS that I'm 100% on board being upset with the front office at. Because when you got players of that caliber that want to be here,
you
they
figure it out.
live
You
they
figure
live
it out.
here in
You figure
Dallas.
it out.
All the stars are
You
aligned.
figure
You
it out.
figure it out.
You
Absolutely.
figure it out.
So
That's all.
I am on board with being upset about that for sure. Because we could have got Derrick Henry and that really that just would have just I just feel like it would have reinvigorated something in the fan base. Like
It would have. People would have said
have Derrick
okay.
Henry.
People would have said
Exactly.
okay. People would have
Exactly.
said okay. That's what I'm
Exactly.
talking about. Okay. It gets everybody. You want the juices going. I'm saying you want the fan base to be excited and happy about the team.
Derrick
Well,
Henry
we
would have
watch
been that
them.
guy.
That's what Jerry. You love bringing the draw, right? You love bringing the crowd. That would have been a crowd pleaser. That would have been a crowd drawer. That would have had everybody in Dallas Cowboys land geeked up because you would have saw, well, hey, this offensive line might be pretty good, and damn, you got Derrick Henry back there. He
Derrick
might be,
Henry.
and this
Right.
mother sucker trains. So we ain't. We know
We
what you getting
know.
with him. You
We
know
know.
what you
We
getting out of
know.
him. He
Trains
going
right here in
100
Dallas.
and he
Like
go hard.
Exactly. Exactly. She said them Sam's. I was like, yeah, it would it would have been packed
Man,
in Oxnard because that's such a huge name. Like have King Henry in Dallas, but front
what
office effed
better?
it up. They effed it up. I just don't understand some of the things front office do. Like I just don't get it. I don't get it because he
Like I
was. I
said,
know a lot of money.
the things that bother me is just the sitting, just the aggressiveness. They're not aggressive, and I
Right.
think when even with your own players, you're not aggressive. You expect the players
Yep.
just to come to you and, oh well,
Yep.
yeah, I'll sign for this. No, they're not. They're
Take a
not. They
team
see,
friendly deal.
yeah, I'm
Exactly.
not taking a team friendly deal when I see how you doing it from the outside.
Exactly.
And we ain't winning championships. I want to win a championship, but you ain't really showing me you really going hard to bring in a championship type team. But you want me to take a pay cut, or you want me to take less so you can? I'm not seeing who you build around. You still get cheap players. You Why would I give up less money, and who else are you signing? You don't go hard in
Exactly.
free agency, so why should I give up less money? You're not building anybody else in the team with free agency because you want to stay homegrown. So what is
Exactly.
that?
And I feel like literally, I feel like if you signed Kendricks, you could have only signed two free agents. You signed Kendricks and you signed Derrick Henry. I don't think anybody would be sitting here complaining.
Nobody would have been mad.
They were like, "We good." You
You
know what
got
I'm
one
saying? Like,
offense, one defense, and you're
yep,
hitting
that's it.
areas that you
That's
needed.
it. That's it. Like Cowboys fans, I think they've most logical ones have come to terms. It's like, listen, we're not gonna ever just go crazy in free agency.
Yeah, we
Part of the
know.
reason because we don't need to because we draft so well. But it's like you just add those one or two pieces.
That's it.
Derrick Henry was cheap. I think he's getting paid like $4 million this year. Like he was cheap. He was dirt cheap. And you could have paid, or maybe it was like more so. Now I'm lying. I think it was like 7 or 8 million. Either way, it's
You still
cheap.
could
That's
have
not no
did
lot of
that.
money.
You
Exactly. That's not
still
no
could
lot.
have did that. You paying
Exactly.
$6 million in dead money to Zeke.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
You could have did it.
So that yeah, you could have did it, but I guess
But
they
let's
say
talk
shoulda,
about
coulda, woulda.
yeah. Let's talk about this, because we're talking about all the positions. I'm gonna leave the Trey Lance thing alone right now. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
leave that. I
good.
I
Yeah,
don't want
let's
to talk
just
about
leave
him
it.
right now. I don't
I
want
ain't
to talk
talking
about
about
him.
him yesterday. I'm like, to
Yeah,
Nick. I'm like, I don't need to talk
I
about him.
I don't want to
We'll
talk about
we'll
him.
see Trey Lance in
We'll see in
preseason.
preseason. That's all I care about because
Yeah, I'm like,
you
we'll see
feel
him in
me. This don't mean nothing to me. I need to see him in preseason live action against a real team, and then that's all I need to know. Right?
exactly. They were exactly like it's like with Trey Lance, we'll see him in
We'll see him in
preseason.
preseason, and we're gonna know everything we need to know. Right?
Everything we need to know
It's gonna
about him.
tell
And
us all.
his first game is coming up next Sunday.
Hey,
So,
we appreciate you, Hector. Let me get that little shout out right there. You see what he said? Dum, dum,
oh,
dum.
thank you, Hector. We appreciate that so much.
Appreciate you, Hector. We
But
trying to
yeah,
shine. I told you that star.
well, yeah, with Trey Lance, we'll see him in preseason,
Yeah.
and if he is anything worth being a quarterback too, we should see it. We should if Trey
We'll
Lance is
see.
a quarterback too, he should look real good in preseason,
Yeah,
real
I
good.
mean the preseason is going to show it. You played in some regular season games. I know you haven't played a lot, but this is your time to do it. So yeah, they sound the interceptions and yeah, they've been, but this don't mean nothing to me because this ain't no live action because like I said before, people were talking about Dak when he was early in his career, how he played terrible in practice, but when
Right.
he went out there in them games, he wasn't playing like that, but he was a bad practice player. So I'm gonna just look at it like that.
Some people are
Some people don't.
gamers.
Some people. I played football, basketball, especially when I played basketball. I've seen guys who sucked in practice, and when it got, you'd be like,
When
"How's
them
this
lights came
motherfucker?
on, they
Man, how's
right.
this motherfucker hitting these threes and
like,
taking to the hole? How?
what is going on? Yeah, so
How?"
Trey Lance, I think people are pulling for you. So hopefully,
We'll see.
the floor will be yours.
Hmm. It's
Everybody
all
gonna
we
be
want you to do good because it only helped Dallas in the
everybody
long
gonna
run.
be
Maybe
watching.
could get retraded. Who knows? But we'll see. But let's talk
Yep.
about this defense because there's a certain player that it's called your eye. It's called my eye. First one before they drafted him, there was a couple players that I wanted in the draft. I was not mad
Mm-hmm.
that they drafted him at that position in that
Mm-hmm.
round, but I was just saying this is where you could have got the DT. You could have got that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mad that you got Carson, but then you could have got this DT right here. So with that being said, I watched some of those videos, silently watched, from afar. They
Mm-hmm.
called him the seatbelt, and I'm watching with this trainer Star, and this was probably like maybe a month ago. I just happened to see a video. I'm like, damn, these mother sucking feet, bruh. Like he is. I play cornerback, not at the highest level, but I played it. I know the footwork. I know the steps. I seen that and was like, wow, that is really good. So let me see. I'm like, that is really good. And so let me just watch him. And the anticipation, the gosh, the
the
fluidness of the
his mirror ability
bro, his mirror,
is
he's reading your route.
yeah, the mirror ability is it's crazy with this kid.
This kid could
Um,
be good.
I mean, you got mirror ability, good with the press. Then on top of that, he's got ball skills, and then on top of that, he's a dog because this guy went straight at Brevin Spanford,
Don't care.
who's probably the
And
tallest guy on the team. I think
he
he's
ain't no
6'8",
little dude. He ain't no little
right?
dude.
And he went straight at Brevin. I think Brevin Spanford, got him on a run block, and
Yeah, it was
Kevin Gerthen
rumbling.
wasn't having
He put him in the
none of
ground.
he
He,
sure
he
did. He
he
put
put
that
him in the
whole
ground.
6'8", 200 and blah 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 pounds right
In
there
the
on the
ground.
ground. So when you have that type of guy, I mean, it just
I'm
looks like
telling you.
we may just have another one on. Now we're becoming big. There's two things that we're becoming here in Dallas. We've been offensive line university, but now we're seeming like we may be DBU. We may be
That's
defensive
why I
back
said
university
we're
because we're pumping out these defensive backs. I just really don't know who would have a better um, core. I do think Cleveland has a good core, but I'm like, are they Bland and Diggs?
yeah,
No. And then when
and
you,
here's the
yeah,
thing that I want. Now, I know a lot of people may not, I don't know how people feel, but I keep on saying I still think Bland is better inside. I still feel like he's a better slot corner. And I want this Carson kid because I feel like he's boundary guy. Diggs out there have this Carson kid be boundary and let Diggs really cook that slot because he's treacherous. I mean he got 5 interceptions in the slot, so it ain't like he
that's
can't get
true.
picks in the slot. He's
Yep,
treacherous in that slot. He's treacherous. And
that's
now
true.
you see them 3 receiver sets, and if you got a dog slot corner, what? You're shutting down if you already got guys on the outside and you got that one slot corner, you still got J. Lou there. J. Lou
Yep.
ain't no top liver.
No, J. Lou was the best. I think they said Bland was the best running back. I
Izzy
mean,
played a little bit in that slot and
they
looked kind of
said
good.
Bland. Yeah, Bland. Oh, Izzy too. So what we found out is one, they haven't been playing Bland at all in the slot, which means he's pretty much locked on the boundary. They
Yeah.
just think he got all pro there. They're like, he's good. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah,
like
but I don't think they
injury,
should do that. Yeah, I feel him, but I don't think they should.
but they've been
That,
playing Carson. According to Nick, they have been playing Carson because everybody's like he's only been playing outside, but he's like, no, he's been
yes,
playing. He's been playing inside as well.
but see
So
that's my thing. That's where I'm frustrated. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you right now, Star. That's a little frustrating for me because this Carson kid is an outside guy in my opinion. I've watched him. He's an outside guy. Bland already
Mhm.
showed you he could be he's a dog on the inside. He showed you he can get picks on the inside. I get it. He was an all pro. It's not no disrespect because I'm telling you, Bland still had trouble with them dogs.
He did. He did. That's the one thing. But the only thing I would say is with Trey back, he'll be going up against the twos. That's that's the silver lining
Okay.
because I'm like,
Okay.
listen, when he went against those boundary ones like DK Metcalf, it was a
Woo.
disaster. It was a disaster out there. Even when he went against Devontae Smith, when Devontae
Devontae
Smith
Smith.
got him on that go route because Bland struggles with that long speed. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, listen, if Bland, I would love to see them like kind of mix it up. We know
Yes, just mix it up.
they never gonna put J. Lou on the edge, so J. Lou is gonna be locked in that slot. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that Zimmer could do some things where okay, now I'm gonna put basically, I'm just saying, play the matchup game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just play
yeah,
the matchup game.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
I get it. I know Bland is cornerback two. Period. I know that. I'm not questioning that. But I'm just saying, in certain packages, maybe sometimes have Bland may be better, and maybe it's better if we
Yes.
put in Kalen because
Because
right
they might
now
have some dog in that slot that's gonna be cooking somebody. Bland be right there.
exactly, and we know how they do the matchup games. What putting them in the
Mm-hmm.
slot because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
you have your least best corners in the slot, or they're going up against linebackers or safety, so they try to play that matchup game. So I feel like when teams are trying to do that and they're trying to cook us with the slot, then you slide Bland right on in there because Bland really is our top tier best slot. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
hating on J. Lou. I love J. Lou, and I think J. Lou is a damn good slot corner. Period, especially healthy. But he
Bland is
he
that guy right there.
right. J. Lou is just you're our veteran here, but you're not gonna be here next year. These guys are our future. So I feel like if you lock these guys into their future positions, if you had Diggs, Kalen, Bland, I just don't understand. I don't know how teams would be passing on us. That's all I will say. If you had Diggs, like who do you throw at that point? I just don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. So, but we'll see how they do it. And
Mm-hmm.
I did hear Izzy is still playing. Zim is still using Izzy as a Swiss Army knife. They say he playing everywhere. He playing slot. He playing
I like
boundary. He
that. I think
playing safety.
he's versatile like that. That's
Right, and I
I'm
think
with
that's
that
how
with him.
Zim. Yeah, I like some people are saying like just lock him into the boundary, but I'm like, no, I like using him as
I
a.
like him moving him
I like
everywhere.
moving
I'm
around.
with
I
that.
like him
Yeah.
being like a chess piece in the
You
backfield.
don't know what he's
When
gonna do when he
right,
comes
you
in. I
have
like
no
that.
exactly.
You
You
have
have
no
no
idea. You
idea
can
what he's gonna do.
I blitz his ass. You know what I'm saying? I want
And
him to be able to. When I bring him in the game, you don't know what he's doing.
you're right. You have no idea, and I think that's what Zimmer is doing. Because if Zimmer's still using him like that, that means that that's what he's seeing him as. Like, no, I can play him anywhere, really. Like, you have no
Hmm.
idea what I'm
Hmm.
doing with him on the field. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you feel about as we kind of get ready to close here? How do you feel
Mhm.
about the line? I want to ask you about the linebacker position. You know, you got the Willie
Willie
Harvey.
Harvey
You
Jr.,
know, Damian Wilson is in the
David
fold.
Wilson, Buddy
Maris is
Johnson,
out there.
Maris
Uh,
Leofau.
you know, what do
The
you? How do
the
you feel? Does it feel better? Damone Clark, he says he's better
yeah,
system. Does it feel better now from last year?
absolutely. Absolutely. And what everybody is saying is like the linebackers are just they are way ahead than they were last year. And that's even with LVE out there. Like I think the linebackers were one with Damone. Damone took I think he took last year personally because I think everybody was on
Was
his
on that?
ass. Like,
Yeah, and he don't want to hear that shit.
like
He
everybody's
don't
like,
want to hear that this year. That was
right,
yeah. He don't want to hear that.
exactly. So he took it personally, and he put in a lot of work with special trainers and stuff like that to get better. And you can already see him going back to what he was his rookie year, hitting the holes, being aggressive. Y'all remember he had like 2 to 3 forced fumbles as a rookie. He only played half the season. So
Hmm.
with Clark, I was never out on Clark. I was like he was out of position and he didn't have any leadership. But now you're not out of position. You're playing the position that you should be playing. You have your leader on the field that's telling you where to go, so you're not having to figure it out. He's gonna be way better this year. Then you got Overshown. He's
Yeah,
been tearing up the practices. I mean, he looks like a monster out there. You know what I'm saying? Like he looks
that man's is different.
he's that's another dog that we have. Like
He
he's an animal.
he's the.
He's
I
an
just
animal.
pray. The main thing I pray is health.
Right.
You know,
That's what
that's
I'm praying for. Like health, health,
because
health. And
he's healthy, bruh.
we're just
Star. If he's healthy,
if he's
okay.
healthy, it will
KMT. Sorry, I ain't seen
doesn't
KMT in like 100 years. He said I ain't messing with Dallas. They be tripping. I'm taking a break. I felt him like he took a break. I like dog. I hit him up
That's
like one
okay.
day
We
like,
all need breaks.
you
We all
feel
need a
me? I
break.
was like, what's up with you? He said, man, I'm taking a break from these Cowboys. I said, dog, I feel you.
Exactly. We all needed a break. We all need a break. But yeah, when
Overshown though. Whew. Oh my
Overshown,
God,
he's
yeah.
just looking like
Just
he's on
health.
a different level, and he's put on about 14 pounds of muscle. So I mean,
Appreciate you.
he's looking like he's gonna be scary out there. I don't know. And then you got Eric Kendricks, which I think Eric Kendricks really, I think he's trying to like because he's been
He's
good.
trying to
I
get a
think Eric,
contract, trying to get another
yeah.
contract.
And I still think like if you're going for middle linebackers, I still think Eric Kendricks is probably top 10 in his position of just middle linebacker play, even with his age. So I'm like, I think he's looking to get him like another contract here, preferably. And then you got Maris, which Nick Harris was like, he thinks Maris is Jim's gonna use Maris this year as a specialist because obviously
Mm-hmm.
he's like our future green dot, but this year Maris can do so much.
Mm-hmm.
At Notre Dame, it was like he was doing too much. They had him playing
Mm-hmm.
slot, blitzing. He was out all over the place, but he can do that because he's right behind Kendricks of knowing this deep. Like he really knows this defense. He's really cerebral. So he'll probably be our third down specialist where he's going to be another player where you don't like Izzy. You don't know what the hell he's doing. You don't know if he's rushing the passer. You don't know if he's blitzing. You don't know if he's going to cover the tight end. You don't know you don't know what he's going to do. So when you look at these linebackers, and shout out to Amp, he said it's the strongest group. I do think it's definitely one of the. We went from that being the worst group to basically
It became a
I
strength.
that's going to be a strength. And then people talking about they're like, don't forget about Buddy Johnson because apparently he's been making plays out there. I didn't even talk
He's got
about
some
Willie
good
Harvey.
size too.
He got good size. Then you got Willie Harvey Jr. who's getting picks, dropping back in cover.
He may surprise, you know. I'm gonna give
I
him
think
some
he
props.
will too. Right,
I think he really may surprise. And, you know, just to flow with you with the linebacking core, you know, I think out of everyone, you know, because we were all talking about Overshown last year, and man, we just was like, oh my God, just this kid's about to do
right,
this. So I just, like I said, I just continue to pray for health for him because I
right,
feel
dude.
like he's that guy.
Right.
He's that
He's that
guy.
guy,
As there's something about him. I don't know what the hell it is, but he's
but
just
he's
that
that.
guy. You know, he's the leader that I think we want Micah to be. He's that leader.
Yep,
The leader we
yep.
want Micah to be, where I don't feel like I think just feel like Micah's just so damn good. He ain't got to worry about him being a leader or not because he just so damn good. He's showing up in them games like he can wreck a game.
Yeah,
But when I see Demarion Overshown, I saw him his rookie year coming out and leading the huddle. I saw him getting
that's true.
everybody
I forgot
together.
about that.
You remember that? He was the one that was leading the huddles
I think
as
we're
a
gonna
rookie.
have. I agree with that. I think Micah ultimately is gonna. He's the leader because he's the best guy on our team. But when
Right.
you talk about guys who you're second in command, especially when D Law leaves, which this
Hmm.
may be D Law's last year, I don't know, but Overshown's definitely he's definitely gonna be. You know who reminds me of big? I know this is football. We not talking about basketball, but Derek Lively. Like I see him coming in and being that young voice, that calming voice, that dog, that where you getting the vets energized because of how you're playing. That's how I
Because
see
it, yeah.
Overshown.
And I feel like he's just a natural leader. And I
Yep,
feel like people are just going to naturally gravitate to him. And I also
yep,
feel like he's one of
mhm.
those leaders that he talks it and walks it. So
Right,
if he's
right,
yelling at you, you best believe
right. Exactly. I
he's
just
outworking you. Okay, so
exactly.
if he
He's
yelled at
outworking.
you, you can't look at him and say, "Well, look at you."
What
You
are you
can't.
doing?
You're not
Right.
going to be able to do that with him. He's going to outwork you every
Exactly.
time, and he's going to have the
Exactly.
right to tell you you suck because I outwork you. That's what I feel like
Exactly.
Overshown is. He feels like that kind of spirit to me, and I love that spirit.
I definitely and I just feel like we got a lot of dogs on this team. I just don't see us. I just think everybody thinks we're gonna be a bunch of PUSSYs, and we're gonna suck
Uh,
and all that stuff. But I'm like,
I
I
don't think
just
so. I just
think,
feel like people just want to wait to them playoffs. I think people
yeah,
don't want to hear this talk with this team no more because the talent alone, Star,
it's not enough.
it's like 10 games. The talent alone is
Right.
10 games, 10 wins, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. Right. Right.
At
Right.
least
Right.
10
Talent
wins.
alone. But
Talent alone.
Right, but it's like the personality that you need in those big games, those
Those big
dogs, those
games.
guys who
It's
say,
those big
let's
games.
rally, let's get it. There's guys who are not just
Rally.
gonna let you
Yes.
be out of the gap. They're gonna go to the
Yes.
sideline and what are
Yeah. What's
get in your
going
face.
on? We got to change this now. We can't leave the.
Exactly.
Yeah, we need that. We
Exactly.
need
I
that.
don't see any. I just don't foresee it, and I'm praying, God, please don't. But I just don't foresee those hung heads, and we just don't know what to do. I don't with these new voices and the leaders, the second year, third year players just taking a jump. I just don't see them. I see this team just really taking on the personality of Mike McCarthy, Mike Zimmer, and those are hard nosed tough guys. That's how I feel. So we really will see. They have to prove it, obviously. All of this is projection is great, but as Cowboy fan, and rightfully so, they have to prove it. Y'all gotta prove it. Y'all gotta go out there. We don't want, yeah, that's great. We think y'all are great. Y'all looking good. But if we go out there and we getting our ass dragged by the Steelers, we getting our ass dragged by the Browns, we getting our ass, it's the same old. Then we gonna change our tune. But it is just looking like it's gonna be it. It's gonna be the whole overall culture attitude will be better. That's what it's seeming like. Of course, we don't know
Well,
until
I ain't
we
going
don't.
that far. That's your optimist. That's your optimism, and
That's
I
the
feel you.
optimist in me.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's the optimist in you, and I appreciate that.
Yep.
But the
Yep.
pessimism is me. I done seen this and heard this story 100 million times, and I ain't hearing it no
Yep.
more. I'm gonna just watch it and look it and observe it.
Yep.
And
They
I
gotta
ain't.
prove it.
They gotta
They,
prove it. Yes,
they
there's
gotta
talent,
prove it.
and I'm not running away from the talent. We just talked about it, and I've been like, hey, I think this group will be good. Hey, I think
Mm-hmm.
those players will be good. But once again, you know, it's a long season, 17 games.
Yep.
So, um,
Yep.
it's going to be a lot of big games in this season.
It's a lot of
I,
big games.
I kind of don't even. I'll just be honest with you, Star. I don't want to feel this way, but it's like I've seen this story before. I've seen us win big games. That's not going to impress me.
Big said, win the divisional round, and then I'm gonna make the Kool-Aid. That's it.
You
That's
feel
one
me?
thing.
That's
He's
well.
like, I don't care if y'all beat
I
the Ravens.
I don't care.
I don't care if y'all beat San Fran
I
finally.
don't care if you
I
win 16
I
and 0.
I want y'all in the playoffs. Beat whoever we face in the
Yes,
divisional round. Beat them, and then we
Star.
can have a talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
That
then we can, and I say I'm with that too. Like you just this season, you just
I
can't
don't
get too
care.
high and you can't get too
I'm
low.
not
It's got
doing.
to be
I'm not
even
getting.
kill.
Yes, I'm not getting on this.
Just be even kill. That's how I'm gonna be this year. Just be even kill
I'm
because
being killed. Like,
I
okay,
got
I've
too
seen this
high
before.
last year
Yeah,
and I
like
just
if Dak throw 500, I ain't. Oh yeah, nope,
because
nope.
it really don't mean nothing because we
It
know
doesn't.
once you get to the tournament, it's just a totally different story.
It's one and done. It's you
Yeah,
either get it done or you don't. You're
you
going
don't
home.
right. So so I'm with it too. I know, like yes, Cowboy fan, I'm excited, but I'm not gonna be. I'm not like I said, I'm not drinking no Kool Aid or nothing like that. I might have gone and bought some ingredients, but I'm not drinking no Kool Aid. I'm not making it.
She got it in there. She got the ingredients. She
I
looking
got
at
them
them, y'all.
prepared.
She
I
look at them.
got,
She
but I'm
open
not
it up
gonna
every
do it.
day and look at them packs and she shake them. She
Yep,
shake the packs, y'all.
but
Okay,
I'm not
and
making
that's
it.
the new. That's the hey. That's gonna be the new thing. You shaking the pack.
Yeah, I'm shaking the pack. Yes,
You
this is
shaking the
yeah.
pack.
I'm shaking the pack, but
You
I'm
shaking the
not
pack.
a. I'm not gonna prepare the water or the pitcher or anything to get the sugar out. Just gonna shake the pack, and I'm gonna see what
she
they
just
do.
shake. She just shaking the pack.
And that we beat the crap out of the Ravens. I may get the water pitcher out.
She will. You are.
I may
I
put
know
the
you are.
sugar on the. I may put the sugar on the counter. That's it. But I'm not gonna make it. I'm just gonna say I may just get it out, put it on the counter. That's it. But yeah, no, I'm
I
just kidding.
love it.
But but
I love
we
it.
gotta
Hey,
see. We gotta see. But anyway.
we got to see, and it's right around the corner. So as we get ready to
Mhm.
close, we hear about. We think. I mean, I'm hearing. I'm sure you heard. We thinking CD is probably going to be done at least by this weekend. We hoping. We're hearing a lot of steam that it could happen,
Okay,
and then
thank
we'll,
God.
like I said, and then we'll see about that. I
Yep.
don't know about that one. I'm just gonna
I
keep it
don't
real. I don't care what they say.
I don't think
Jerry double
anybody
talks too much for me.
nobody knows. I don't think anybody knows. I think everybody's yes and no change by the day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
I,
yes, and then no, then yes. I don't think anybody knows, but Steven is now he had a chance to update us today, but he went kind of closed lips. So I said maybe y'all are close. Maybe Dak is like, go ahead and get CD done. And then once I see CD done, and I see what he signed for them. I'm like, all right, I'll go ahead and sign. We'll see what happens.
my
Ultimately,
dog Mike
Cowboys.
White told me this is what I'm gonna say before we get off. Mike White told me in our show. He said, you know, and I heard that CD was going to be done this weekend too, but they were saying that he was holding off because he wanted to make sure Dak was getting signed before he signed.
So
So
it's like they look at each other like,
you
you
signed
signed
that
it,
where
you
they
signed
always saw
it.
that Spider Man where they both
Yeah, that's
pointed at each
Spider Man.
other.
It's like you signed it. So I mean, because honestly, Dak and CD love each other, and
Hmm.
they feel like
They do.
they started building on something great
They
last
built
year,
something. Yeah.
and they wanna continue that. So they trying to make sure front office ain't playing no damn games. That's what they trying to
I
do because we
mean,
know front office they could try to pull a fast one.
their
So
chemistry has been kind of out of this world since he's gotten the league.
it really is. It's really out of this world. I'm like in CD. If we had a targeted him from week one, I mean, this guy he probably could have broke Megatron's record. So I just think CD is just gonna be on God willing, health for our guys, our star players. I'm like, God, just don't let our big three go down. Anybody else, I feel like we can stomach it, but I'm like, just don't let our big three go down. That's Dak, CD, and Micah. And I do think that Dak and CD they're locked in. You know what I'm saying? Like they're ready to go. It's all
Hmm.
about
I
get
agree.
this. And I think nothing is more invigorating too when it's like we know like we got our bags, so let's go out. We ain't got nothing else to
Yeah,
worry about. We
you
ain't
ain't
got
got to
to
worry about it no more. Let's just play football. Yeah,
right.
that's
Let's
why,
just
and I think that's what the frustrating thing is when they're like these things take time, but we know. But right now it's a distraction. You're not talking
right.
about
It's a
football.
distraction.
You're talking about everything else, and to me, that's the
Everything
distraction
else,
that you don't want when you're
exactly.
trying to go into a year that you say, "Hey, we want to take it to another level."
We want to
You're
take it
saying
up.
we're hanging around the rim. This is what Stephen Jones and them saying. We're hanging around the rim.
Mhm.
Eventually, we are. But to me, when you're hanging around the rim, you slam dunking like James Slater said. Why not slam dunk and get these guys signed already so you can have them focused and
Exactly,
have them
exactly.
on one level.
And
We're already
that's
signed.
what
We're
I'm
trying to win a
saying.
chip.
Hopefully the rumors are true. Get CD signed by this weekend. I don't want CD out of camp more than 2 weeks, and this is the
No,
second week.
this
So like,
second
go
week.
ahead and get him in camp, dog. Like, let's go ahead and get it. We know CD put in the work and him and Dak and stuff, but we need the team camaraderie. We need everybody to get because these guys are playing roles that they're not going to play when CD gets here. So we need to
Mm-hmm.
get things locked in how we're actually going to run it on the field. So and
Mm-hmm.
to do that, we need CD at camp. So hopefully
Yeah.
they go ahead and get this deal done so we can so we can stop talking about it because I'm tired of talking
Yeah.
about
I feel you.
it.
I'm done talking about it. I just want to talk about football and what the matchup's
Exactly.
going to
That's
look
a
like and not
just
what
talk
the next
about
deal is going to
football.
be. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's talk about football. But anyway, this was a great show.
Great
Thank
show. Great
thank you to
show.
everybody
I
in the
got some
chat. It was
good
great.
football talking. See, and I try to tell you, I ain't negative as you think I am. I said a lot of great things about the team, but I'm just gonna
Uh-huh.
call the team out for what I see, and I feel like the things I call them out on are very legit. And like I
Yep.
said, these little things that I call them out on, I feel like are the little things that when they're like, well, damn, why is what is it? And then we
Hmm.
see those little things like we don't know that if a Bobby Wagner was on the team and said the LVE, he could have
Hmm.
made the difference in that playoff game.
Right. We
We
don't
don't know
know.
if Amari Cooper was there over an injured Michael Gallup because you were trying to prove a point.
Trying to
He could
prove a
have been
point.
that other guy that they didn't have to focus
Terrible.
on. He could have made the big play at the end of the game because it was such a tight game and take us over the hump. You know what I mean? Just the little things. We don't know that when you had a John Ridgeway that you really had to go and activate somebody and lose a key young piece who's over there playing good
Hmm.
football over there in Washington. That could have been a key
Hmm.
piece, and you wouldn't have to worry about keep on drafting defensive tackles. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Just those
Yep.
small, minute things. And then your coach. You say you love your coach. Just think the world of Mike McCarthy. I love him. I love him. I love him. He's got you 12 and 5 win seasons. We know 12 win seasons in the NFL, three of them in a row, back to back to back, are hard as hell in the NFL to do. Yes, you
Hmm.
didn't do well in the playoffs, and I don't like it. But at the end of the day, when your owner is saying he loves everything you do, but he won't extend you but you had a Jason Garrett who you kept 10 years. And yes, you put that bullet to him, but he hadn't proved nothing. He had three mediocre seasons and then one good season. And then you rewarded him with a 5-year deal. McCarthy's giving you three straight 12-win seasons, yet you still keep him on a lame duck deal season. I don't understand that. See, it's just those
I
little
don't.
things
Yeah,
like that.
it's those little things. It's like, why are you doing that? But Mike McCarthy, in his years past, he has liked to be in this position, and he was like, even in Green Bay, he had gotten the team to the, I think, the NFC Championship, and he's like, the owner had sent him a deal like, okay, I'm gonna sign you right now. Mike McCarthy's like, no, don't sign me right now. I'm gonna get us to the Super Bowl. So Mike McCarthy, I think Mike McCarthy is used to betting on himself, but I understand. I don't like that because you should sign
The
him. He's
uncertainty,
done
and
more
then
than
it looks like
right.
Dak likes him, and it looks like that offense was pretty good with him
The
behind
whole
him. Now
team,
you're
the
you.
whole
Now
team
you're.
loves him.
I like Mike McCarthy.
Right. It's like the whole
Even
team
when we
likes him.
don't be winning with even in the playoffs, he it pissed me off. But I don't get so mad at Mike because I've always liked Mike McCarthy as a coach. Like I've always
Right.
liked Mike McCarthy as a coach, no matter what. So I don't
No
get
matter
as
what.
mad at him. I get frustrated, but I don't get as mad at him because I feel like he is a good coach. He has to do better because you've been in the league long enough to know better. But
Hmm.
guys on the field got to do better. But once again, sometimes you may need a couple of those guys that you didn't get. That may you get your. It's just it's what they say. It's a fine line, Star. It's a fine line. That's all. It's a
Fine
fine
line.
line. It's a
That's
fine
true.
line. So, hey man, this was an awesome show. I'm so glad we got to do this one. We had back to
Great
back
storyline.
shows. We're back on the back on the grind. We're back on the grid. We had B Tuck on the show last week, and that was awesome. He gave us awesome insight on the
Yep.
defensive tackle position as a whole, and just gave us a lot of good nuggets, just to what to look for in positions, things of that nature. Really
Yep.
loved it. He always gives us great schooling, and I loved how the show today because we got to talk about the free agency, the cheapness or not cheapness, or just a breakdown of it. And
Breakdown of it.
I love the
Hmm.
good back and forth we had today, and I just was an awesome
Yeah.
show. Really excited.
This
I
was a
really
great
loved the
show.
show. Really love this show. But before we go, let them all know where they can find you. And since you boycotting Twitter right now, let them definitely know where they can find you on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, you guys can find me on YouTube, Stargazer Sports. Yeah, Twitter. I'm still on Twitter, but I'm just not posting my streams to Twitter because I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel, and so I
Hmm.
want my Twitter is growing, but y'all not coming to the YouTube. So I'm like, y'all got to come to the YouTube if y'all want to see my videos and stuff like that. That's what I'm doing. But my Twitter is the Stargazer, but it's instead of a E in Gazer, it's a 3 and then it's 2 R's at the end. Y'all can find me on Instagram at Stargazer underscore sports. And then you can find me on TikTok too at Stargazer dot sports. So yeah. But thank you guys. Oh, y'all can donate to my Cash App right there on the screen. Dollar sign Stargazer Sports. I really appreciate it. But yeah, this was a great show. Big, had a great time, and hopefully we'll be back next week.
Yes, so once again, great show. Big Game James, check me out on Twitter. I don't really be all crazy active on there, and I definitely damn sure ain't paying no Elon Musk no 20 something nothing for no show. So you come holler at me on the YouTube tip. You know where I'm at. Y'all know what it is. I've been here 7 damn years. Y'all know what it is. It don't change. It's old school over here, and that's where we
Yes,
keeping it, and that's where we like it. But really appreciate you, Star. Really great show. Can't wait to jump back on here next week. Hopefully, we'll be talking about signings at that time, and then we'll
hopefully.
be moving forward and to really getting ready into the meat of this because preseason is right around the corner. Isn't there a preseason
Preseason.
game tonight?
There's the Hall of
The
Fame
Hall of
game is
Fame game.
tonight,
Yeah.
and our first preseason game is literally this not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
So that's 2 weeks. Oof, it's here.
Yeah, it's here. That's what I'm
Let's
saying.
get it.
Like
It's here.
it's here right now. Yeah.
It's
All
time. It's time
right.
to get it. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody. I'm jumping straight off of here, Stark. I'm gonna go get me some food.
Me too.
Appreciate you. Love you. You have a great day. Be
Love you
safe
too,
out
big.
there. And I'll be definitely talking to you and checking out your Twitter because I love your tweets. That's why I love jumping in. And one thing I want to say one thing else I love about you. When me and Star, we go at it on Twitter. I don't know what y'all be thinking. We go at it on Twitter like we really
Me
do.
too.
We go
Yeah.
at it. She'll say something. I jump right in there. She don't back down from none of it. She come right back with it and go hard with it. And I was like, all right, let's say this for the show because I ain't doing
Yeah.
all this damn tweeting today. But man, I love it how we respect each other, that we go hard in our views to each other, but it ain't
Hmm.
never no issues. We
Right.
ain't
We
never
always
tripping on.
have respect
We
and love for each
always
other.
have it. We
Exactly.
always, it ain't never tripping. But we definitely, it's cool that you don't always have to agree, but it's all about respect. And I think a lot more people just really need to understand that.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. It's like the content creators, we don't always agree, but we have to have
We don't got a
respect for
beef.
one another.
Hmm.
Right. It's like let's have respect for one another. We're not just randoms that are saying something just to get a rise out of you to argue. Like if anything that we post on our social media, whatever, because we actually believe it and that's our opinions. Opinions can be argued, but just don't. It's no need to be disrespectful. So, but anyway, all right, we go. I'm gonna hop off of here so I can go. I gotta make myself dinner. But
All
anyway,
right.
all
I'll
right.
talk to you. We'll see
See
you.
you guys later.